And welcome back to Sports Weekly on IEMG. It was a championship season for the Aquinas boys basketball team. The Falcons winning the CIF Southern Section 3A championship against a tough San Dimas squad at Toyota Arena as the Falcons were back on top of the CIF world and also punched their ticket to the CIF state playoffs, and they had to take on a very tough North team in Bakersfield, and the Falcons season came to a close, but still could not put a damper on what Aquinas accomplished this season to get into the playoffs and make that CIF championship run. Here's more on Aquinas boys basketball, the champs. And now join us here on the show, fresh off a CIF Southern Section Division 3A championship. It's your Aquinas boys basketball team. We've got head coach Daryl Pegram. We've got assistant coach Dennis LaTourette. And DP, I mean, we talked, I think actually the week of going into that championship game and a couple of your players as well. Now that you're, coming off that championship and winning that 3A title, in your first year at Aquinas at least, I mean, was the expectation always that, championship, whether it was a league title or CIF title, was it always championship aspirations for you when you got to Aquinas?
I think the expectation was championship expectations in everything we do on a daily basis, right? Championship preparation, championship, prayer, championship character, championship work ethic. And, we talked about, yes, we do want to win league. Yes, we did. And we fell short on that. We talked about we did want to win CIF, but we knew to win those things, we couldn't focus completely on the outcome. We had to focus on being champions every single day, day in and day out. And I think the boys did that. And I couldn't be more happier for the boys, their family, and the entire Aquinas community.
Coach, when you look at that CIF Southern Section run, I mean, you guys, I guess, playing your best basketball of the season. It was a dominant run through the section. Is that safe to say? Would you say like those, whatever it was, 4 or 5 games, is that the best basketball you guys had played all year?
Yeah, and it made sense because we got this program late last summer. And so we didn't have a summer league. We didn't play any fall league games. We didn't even have a complete roster until halfway through November, toward the end of November. And then 3 of our 5 starters were transfer kids. And so they had to sit out. They were SOP kids, so they didn't even get eligible until December 27th. So that group didn't have a lot of time playing together. And so later on in the season, they peaked because they were finally getting adjusted to playing with each other, to doing what the coaching staff asked them to do. And so we peaked right at the right time during playoffs. We credit that to the very tough preseason schedule that we played, and being in a very tough league. And they just finally got familiar and used to each other, and it took some time. I know everybody looked at our record going into playoffs, like, oh my goodness, these guys are 12-16. They must not be that good, right? But not realizing who we played, not realizing this was a complete different roster from last season. No starter was a returner on last year's team, right? And from last year's team. And so we took a bunch of new guys, new to the program, new to the school, and won CIF. And it was because of, not just having championship expectations, but having championship expectations as far as how we prepare and conduct ourselves on a daily basis.
So, Coach, was that exciting, or was it, I don't want to say scary, but did you feel like, oh man, all new guys, first year as the head coach here at Aquinas, like basically it was a blank canvas, right? You're like, hey, we can build this from scratch. Mm-hmm. I mean, did you feel that way? Like, I mean, not that it was scary, but like, you had opportunities.
Absolutely. But, it was extremely exciting. But, one thing on a bigger than basketball note, Aquinas as a high school just has an excellent foundation of excellence in everything that gets done here, right? And our principal, the great Dr. Amanda Egan, she gives the entire school campus a tagline every year for us to go by, right? Every year. And for the whole entire school, this year's tagline was grow together. And so what we did when we took the program over, we wanted to be in sync with what goes on in the school day, what goes on in the classroom, what goes on in the school community. And so when she said for the whole school community, we got to grow together, we use that in basketball too, right? New guys, new program, new head coach. Hey, whatever happens, let's grow together and get better every day. And we grew together.
All right, Coach, I'm going to circle back and end with you, but let me go to your guy to your left, Coach LaTourette over there. And Coach, we were kind of joking off air. I'm like, hey, man, how's it feel? And you're like, ready for the next one. So it sounds like you guys are ready to get back in the gym and start, building for next season. Is that correct?
Absolutely. I already have guys coming in at 6 a.m. for extra work. So it never stops year round.
What's weird too about, CIF is like, I feel like some teams, a lot of coaches, you prepare for that Southern Section Championship and then you have to regroup for state. It's like another, playoff run after the playoff run. But did you guys have a chance, Coach LaTourette, to enjoy that 3A championship a little bit before thinking about state or even next season for that matter?
Well, it was a pretty quick turnaround from the section game to the state game. So I think we didn't rebound quickly enough for the state run. So if we had 2 days, I think it would have been a different story.
Yeah, I used to cover the Bakersfield school, so I know a little bit about North, and don't get me wrong, they're good, but I was kind of surprised when I saw that score. I'm like, oh man, I think if Aquinas played them a couple more times, the Falcons would have, if he played 5 times, he'd win like 3 or 4 of them. But
we agree.
Yeah,
we agree. The long drive kind of had an effect on us too, and then it was just some days you just can't throw it in the ocean. That was our day, unfortunately. Picked a bad day to have a bad day.
Well, Coach LaTourette, let me ask you about, next year. I know you had a great backcourt, right? You had guys who, provided probably leadership. They provided scoring, all sorts of things. Talk about maybe the guys who are coming back to the program next season. And I would assume the cupboard's not bare, right? You got some guys coming back.
No, we still have a 7-1 kid coming back. So when you have 7-1, you got a great foundation right there. And then his partner in his class, Vince, is an incredible scorer and good kid. And we're going to have them for a whole year. We didn't have them for a whole year. So we get to get in our lab and get them ready. Both of them are going to be much better than they were at the end of this season come the start of next season, because they'll put in all that work. And both of them are workers. So that's the best thing about it is we don't have to beg them to get in the gym. Both of them are calling me. Okay, can I get a 6 a.m. in? Coach, can we come in at night after volleyball? So it's basically me saying, yeah, let me see what I can do. So, which is good. That's what I want. I don't want to have to go chase down kids to come and get in here to get extra work in. Yeah. They're all about the work. And that's what makes CIF champions is that the kids want to put in the work, and they do.
That makes sense. When I played, that was not me, and I never won any championship. So that makes sense. But Coach, having those guys and going through this, championship run and getting that experience, knowing next year, they're going to be the guys, right? Like Malachi Jones and LJ Hall, like they're going to have to, those are big shoes to fill. Like, Definitely. Is it exciting that they're already wanting to put in that work because they know they're going to have an increased role, whether they like it or not? They're going to be the guys, right?
Absolutely. And I think especially those two know that they have to step up because those two leaders left, especially Malachi Jones. He was a double-double machine and basically came off a football field. We asked him, hey, come play basketball. And he just was tremendous. That's athleticism like you never see around. So, but they're going to have to work on their skills to make up for what Malachi Jones does just after natural ability.
Yeah. Yeah, he was fun to watch. Football and basketball. He's really fun to watch. DP, let me go back to you. Again, looking ahead to next season, I know you won a 3A championship, but I feel like at Aquinas, you guys always have the biggest goals. I mean, in the back of your mind, are you thinking, man, hey, at the end of the, when this is all said and done, maybe we'll be an open division team competing for championships. Like what's like the pie in the sky? What's the big goals for the Falcons?
Signing day, getting kids to college. Our main goal is, look, if you come to Aquinas, you want to play basketball. Well, first of all, if you're a student at Aquinas, period, just get to college, right? Let's get to college, right? So we got to have the grades. But if you say you want to play basketball for us, our goal for you is to be able to go play at the next level. And we only want guys who are serious about having an opportunity to play at the next level. So obviously, we want to play in the highest division possible. You've seen our schedule. We played a lot of D2, D1 teams. We want to get to that D1 level. We want to get to that open division level. But the goal for us is we want to have signing day. We want to have guys putting names, on those national letters of intent and going to play basketball and representing Aquinas at the next level.
All right, Coach, one final question, really just as a fan, and I'm just curious. Who are your coaching influences, and did you play for Bobby Knight?
So I missed Bobby Knight by 1 year.
Oh, okay.
I missed him by 1 year, Coach Knight. I had the pleasure of meeting Coach Knight. I played for his assistant, Mike Davis.
Yep.
So Mike Davis took over when Coach Knight was let go. I was hoping to play for Coach Knight. I admire Coach Knight. But my coaching influences, one thing I've been blessed as a former athlete is to have great coaches, right? And so my prep school coach at Worcester Academy in Worcester, Massachusetts, Bill Casera, I had 11 D1 players on my high school team as a senior, right? Coach Casera went on to become the head coach. He went on to become a D1 head coach. My assistant coach at Worcester Academy, he's the head coach now. He just won a New England Prep School Athletic Association championship this past Saturday. So all my coaches that I've ever had been great coaches. In middle school, I played for the great Jim McGarry at Golden Valley Middle School. We won championships in middle school. So my coaching pedigree is great. I mean, also too, I was an assistant for Darren Graham at San Bernardino High School, who's one of the best coaches that this area has ever seen. I was an assistant for Dave Johnson for 4 years here at Aquinas, which is one of the best coaches this area has ever seen. So I've been around a lot of great coaches. And I think that's helped shape me and mold me into being able to have success early on here at Aquinas now. So I look up to a lot of coaches, but really the coaches that, I've been around, right? The coaches that I've played for. I played for some really, really great coaches. And I tell kids, all the time, I believe in one type of luck in this world. And that is the adults you get to help your life when you're a kid. You don't get to choose your coaches all the time. You don't get to choose your parents. The best coaches I ever had are my mom and dad. Right? They were harder on me than any other coach I've ever had, right? I didn't get to choose my parents. You don't get to choose your coaches, teachers, mentors, people who help you as a child. And so I've been blessed to just have great people in my life. And that's why I care so much about the kids. And we love, helping these young men and help seeing them grow.
Man, whether it's on the East Coast or right here in San Bernardino, man, some great coaches. Coach LaTourette, DP, man, congratulations on a CIF Southern Section Championship this year. And, man, we're excited to see how high that bar has been raised, for next year and what you guys are able to accomplish. So thank you guys for hopping on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, great job to the Falcons. Another CIF championship season. That'll do it for this edition of Sports Weekly on IEMG. And make sure you subscribe to the Inland Empire Media Group YouTube channel. I'm Pep Fernandez, and I'll see you next time.